welcome to another episode of the Doomloop Dispatch, the news show that covers the worst parts of the San Francisco Bay Area. My name is Kevin L. Jones, and with me whenever possible is...
T. Scott Miller.
Alrighty, and boy, do we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. We're not interviewing anybody today because there is too much going on. First off, we thought we were going to be invaded.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Apparently, Trump called it off thanks to a call from the CEO of NVIDIA, as well as a kowtowing from San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie.
Yeah. Also, Benioff. Benioff also called Trump and asked him not to do it.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, the guy who originally asked for Trump to actually invade San Francisco, he called and asked him not to do it. Also, so he had a lot of pushback from tech. I also think, because Elon is bringing Neuralink back here, so that might have something to do with it too.
That's right. He's looking to rent another space, even though he stopped paying rent on Twitter headquarters. Good luck, buddy. Sounds like you got a great reputation.
Yeah, but we still do have some issues over here in Alameda, though. We've got the troops are still coming in. Over there at the Alameda Naval Base, and we have people who are blocking entrance, and somebody's already been hit with a flashbang. Other people have already been hit with tear gas. Yep. So I don't know how safe Oakland is going to be. San Francisco is apparently off limits, but he's got these guys over here. Everything, when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So we're still trying to see what's going on with Oakland.
Yeah, why is it Philip Dreyfus calling Trump, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, don't invade my city, the city I want to own. That's so frustrating. Yes, I saw that. I mean, but it was great, though, too, seeing the resistance. I'm really proud of the Bay Area showing up. I mean, you had one guy out there at 6 a.m. trying to block everything off. I mean, that's just... That's awesome.
Everybody got early in the morning, and our favorite Oakland Observer was out there doing blow by blow, minute by minute coverage first thing this morning. So we have to be thankful for him too.
Yes, thank you, Omar, for all your coverage and all the coverage on the meetings and everything else too. He literally went from that to go cover a meeting where they're talking about trying to schedule the homeless abatement policy, the homeless encampment abatement policy. He wants to have it in a special meeting. He's going to try to shove it through, which man, Ken Houston, like, why has he become this supercharged fascist? That's my question. I mean, because I haven't. Did you hear or see any signs of this villain turn for Ken Houston?
Well, I did. I mean, his number one funder was Philip Dreyfus. His second biggest funder is Empower Oakland. So I don't so there were a couple of people who were on city council who really were giving off these red flags a long time ago. I feel the same way about Jenkins. What's his first name? Kevin Jenkins. Yeah, I mean, Kevin Jenkins has been giving off red flags ever since he attended the NAACP announcement of the firing of Brandon Harami. And then after we talked to Brandon let us know that he was in cahoots with both Seneca Scott and Brendan Harbor Forte. I mean, he actually came at the request. He came to Brandon from the request of Harbor Forte to try to get Brandon to apologize to her for something he did not even do. And that should have been an indication to us, So, and then over in the far outside is Charlene Wang, and Wang seemed to actually be neutral. I hope she still tries to maintain that, but she also is an Empower Oakland candidate. So, these guys have kind of been sneaking through the back door this whole time.
Yes, yeah, and I mean, and this is why they kind of push the right and the techies push this idea of authoritarian rule. They want strong leaders. That's why they want to decrease commissions. That's a part of, and we'll talk about that too, but they want to remove commissions. You saw that in San Francisco too. And they want to empower one leader, usually a mayor, something like that. And this is why. So they could that's why they love the idea of the republic. They don't like
democracies.
Exactly. Because it means you can ignore the people. You can ignore the riffraff. And that's what they want to do here. They don't care. They don't care. Houston clearly does not care that so many people showed up to fight his abatement policy. He's still going to just force it on people and think it's okay, you know?
Yeah, I mean, to me though, I mean, I love what Barbara Lee is doing. Barbara Lee started an encampment cleanup program of her own.
Yes,
and she also is intending to go after serial dumpers, and the serial dumpers are landlords. Yep. I mean, in fact, like 75% of all dumping is coming from landlords at post eviction. 75%. So the thing is that Houston, the thing that I think is really kind of like insincere and disingenuous about what Houston is doing is that most of his funding for his campaign came from landlords.
Yep.
Right. And he also ran with Lynn Raphael from the landlord lobby, which is also Chris Moore. Yep. Right. So what you're doing is you're deflecting the blame. Where is the dumping coming from? Like to say like what you need to do is you have serial dumpers. And I did some deep dive on this, so let me just get this out.
Quick. Go for it. All
right, so
I'll mute myself.
Yeah, 75% of all dumping in Oakland comes from landlords post eviction. Right, another 10% comes from unlicensed dumpers. But who are they working for? Landlords. Right, so that means that 85% of all dumping that's happening in Oakland is coming from landlords. Period. So if you wanted to do something about the dumping, cleanups aren't going to work, because basically, as long as these guys are evicting people, which they love to do, right, there's going to be people who have to abandon all of their stuff, right, because they just can't afford to move it out. And these landlords just take it and dump it over to where the most homeless people are in order to encourage people to get rid of them. And this recently just happened at on our lake. There have been people who have been sleeping near our lake. They don't hurt anybody. They're decent folks. I mean, got mental illnesses or whatever. But the thing is like I was walking around the lake. One day there's nothing there, and the next day somebody has come and dumped everything around them. Like there was like so much crap, just like crap that just been dumped around these people overnight. Like and then you have to look at these dumpings and you have to ask, what? There is no way that one person could carry like all of this shit, right? Like chairs and couches and discarded books and plates, and like nobody's carrying these things one at a time. Like a truck is coming in, dumping near a homeless person, then that is the thing that actually calls the city. We need to have the city come and clean this up. So it actually does equal homeless people to the dumping. Right. So when you get rid of the trash, you also get rid of the trash.
Yes.
Right. And that is the thing that I think. So I like what Barbara Lee is doing is what she's going after serial dumpers. She's going after the landlords. She's also going to start empowering not only the city, but she's going to start empowering people who want to volunteer or even people who want to work part-time to help with the cleanups. So I think like that's going to be a real problem for Houston. Right, because that's his whole thing. His whole thing is that we have to clean up these encampments, right? But Barbara Lee is like, no, the city's got it. We don't need your assistance, and we also need the assistance of this organization called the Urban Compassion Project. Yeah. They are also these people who were really leaning on the city's negligent in the dumping. So, but we have to really attack the problem, and the real problem is landlords dumping. That's the problem. The problem isn't the homeless people. Homeless people are not gathering these things. The landlords are dumping things near the homeless.
Yeah.
Like that's
and the dumping's been going on for years. I remember at KTVU, you'd have neighborhoods complain, but the police wouldn't really go after them. But it was because also, too, you got a lot of trash and stuff to dump from the like rehabilitations of these apartments. When they're renovating them, they get all the like drywall and stuff, and they'll literally just go to some neighborhood and just drop it off on a corner. It's gross. It's just so negligent, and they just don't care, especially when they're just trying to save money. There's dumps everywhere. There's dump services you can hire, everything. There is a whole system for this that they are ignoring so they can save money. And what's even worse that you're pointing out is now they're using their trash to hurt others, to hurt the homeless. That's disgusting, man.
It is. But also, I mean, like, Chaney Turner just recently reminded me of what East Oakland looked like, say, in like 1985 before I got here. Mm-hmm. And this has been. Let's talk about the Bronx in the 1970s. I mean, the whole thing about people burning out apartments. burning out buildings to renovate those buildings, and then taking that trash and dumping it into the most impoverished community. Like, that is just the way landlords have been doing, like, since forever, So why are we acting as if this is a brand new phenomenon? I don't know.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's why Mao's treatment of the landlords, take note, Always something to consider. Do you want to stick with Oakland? Should we go on to what's going on with Armstrong and
let's go, man. Let's go.
Yeah. Well,
Oakland's popping, baby.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, that's for sure. I mean, we'll cut back to the ice raids and stuff too. I think we should end with talking about what you can do if you see ice raids and stuff. There's a lot of good information about that.
Yes, there is tons.
But so let's get in. First off, former chief LeRon Armstrong. He had a lawsuit. He tried to sue the city of Oakland, saying he was fired because he spoke out. They violated his First Amendment rights. Remember, Armstrong was a appointee by Libby Schaaf, so that should tell you everything, since she was so terrible. But yeah, Sheng Tao came in, fired him. And mostly, I mean, people say it was because he was speaking out against the federal monitor that's, following the Oakland OPD. But there's also the fact, too, that he really kind of helped a cop avoid some scrutiny for a hit and run, as well as a discharge of a firearm in an elevator.
But I mean, the thing is, though, is you're right. Armstrong, I think that he was trying to exonerate himself through this lawsuit. So I think it's very important that the courts kind of saw through that, there's nothing improper that was taking place as far as he called himself a whistleblower, when in fact, we know about one cover up, right? We know about one, but how many others do we not know about? That's the real question when it comes to this guy. Because I mean, Oakland OPD is pretty, corrupt. So I mean, it's difficult to say that to say. I feel that this is probably the best way for us to have a closure with Armstrong. I mean, he's now that Mitchell's gone, there are people already talking about bringing back Armstrong, and so this decision couldn't come at a better time, actually.
Yes. No, that was yes, you're right. There was the allegations against Fong Tran.
Yes,
but he was there was basically, he had a bad homicide investigation, and basically Armstrong was included with a bunch of other officers of lying and bribing to basically cover up his terrible homicide investigation.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the other thing we reference, Oakland side did not name the sergeant, but it was a sergeant on the OPD that was in a hit and run. And he also shot, his gun went off in an elevator, and he drove to the Bay Bridge and dumped off the shell casing. And this is the kind of cop, I mean, this is why, again, and you see the Oakland report, you see Ken Houston, you see all these people trying to defend the OPD and how it's too scrutinized and how they can't do anything. No, I'm sorry. If they're doing crap like this, they need to be scrutinized. This is a terrible culture.
Well, and also, I mean, you guys are still having to do a federal oversight for something that happened 15 years ago. I mean, there has been no signs of improvement. Right, yeah. There's just been no signs of improvement. So I mean, why do you think the OPD should be given this infallibility? They're not infallible, clearly, right? Yeah. You can't even get your shit together enough to have the Fed get off your back. I mean, come on.
And that's for something years ago, years ago. And it's seriously, it's they keep tripping over themselves. They'll literally go and claim no, we're better now, we're a different OPD. Yeah, and then you'll hear about Celeste Guap, and you're like, yeah, does it sound like it?
What? And then you have the overtime fiasco. I mean, it's just you have to perform better. Yes. Right, instead of trying to cover up your malfeasance and incompetence, why don't you perform better?
Yeah.
And then that way you can actually make this argument. You can make these arguments instead of just constantly trying to do these little cover-ups and these little backdoor deals and this little like show signs of improvement. Just show signs of improvement. I don't think it's that difficult, but I could be wrong.
I mean, for some reason, I mean, I think the culture just makes it impossible, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. Instead of fixing things, instead of going like, hey, you know, San Francisco police, don't shoot a man running away from you in the back from your car. Like, don't do that. Like, it's you have no reason. You were not threatened. You just shot him, you know? But instead, what do? They go all out to defend the guy. They go all out to remove a prosecutor that would hold them accountable. And you're seeing this with Oakland too. I mean, it's like, have you heard of any officers being held accountable? You know, not even prosecutors, you know?
I think that's really what the push was about Chauvin. I think the reason why the right got so scared there for a minute is because it did start looking like cops were going to be held accountable. It's like, you know, we only got Chauvin, right? Well, we got one in Chicago too. I forget his name, but like, yeah, I think like what they call the George Floyd moment or the racial reckoning moment or whatever it was. I look at it from a totally different perspective. I see it as holding cops accountable. Yeah. And it's not even a question of the race of the person. Like, cops need to be held accountable. They need to be held to, if you want to be held to a higher standard, you should be held to a higher standard. And so, I mean, I don't think the OPD is ready to do that. I don't think they're ready to acknowledge their shortcomings.
Yeah, or any police force, it sounds like. I mean, you're talking about Derek Chauvin. He's in Minnesota. He's part of the Minneapolis police force who, you know, fought back. Do you remember Buffalo Police Department when there was a protest following George Floyd? And this one guy was like holding up a sign and he was backing up and the cops just pushed him over and he cracked open his head and bled everywhere.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what happened? So they try to hold the cop accountable because clearly the guy wasn't doing anything. You pushed him over and possibly gave him brain damage.
He was a senior too. He was a senior.
Exactly. And what did how do the cops respond? They all quit.
Yeah.
They rather protect a bad cop than do the right thing. You know?
Well, I mean, I think they were cooked when you have a sheriff in California saying I'm voting for the felon. I think that the whole system is pretty cooked when that happens. You know, there's no way that you can call yourself a law enforcement officer and at the same time say you're voting for the felon. I think that's cooked. I think that's cooked.
Yeah, well, they're like, but it's also too, it's like, who's the guy that's going to protect their power? Who's the guy that's not going to hold them accountable? And it's definitely the guy that's going to hold them up, you know? And again, it's also too, who are the funders? Who are the people pushing for all this stuff? People like, you know, that probably agree with Balaji Srinivasan, who wants to have parades for the cops and celebrate them, you know?
But also, I mean, what the network state really wants to do is they want to hire them as private security, right? So I think it's really interesting that you brought that up because we are talking about the very same naval base that the tech fascists have their eyes on in Alameda. It's the exact same base. They want to turn that into a network state operation. Right. So the first thing wouldn't, like, you know, a federal capture by the tech fascist president. Right. Then that place is once again serviceable, because right now, and this is the thing that people don't talk about, that the naval base itself has asbestos problems. Like right now, they're putting their soldiers at physical risk by housing them in there. But that's what the tech fascists actually ultimately want to do, is have a private security force of federal agents and police officers that will guard their compounds for them and make sure like that they don't have to deal with the protests like they're dealing with right now at the naval base. So, I mean, it just kind of feeds into that. Like it does, almost everything feeds into tech fascism. Almost everything does.
Well, yeah, I remember, was it one of the first things Trump tried to do the second time around was kind of set up his own police force that only answered to him? Yeah. I remember something about that, you know, and it's like, yeah, this is what they want. They want their own Gestapos. And let's be real, Gestapos, that's what they want, you know, that only answer them and like will wreak havoc. Right. But that's the thing, you know, so that's why too, I think that is why they're going after the Oakland Police Commission. I think it really is, because it truly is. It was created in 2016 to hold the cops accountable and was made more powerful in 2020. And literally, so what do? What they always do. Let's attack and disrupt from the inside. We'll put in what's her name? Forte.
They brought in Brenda Harper Forte. And it's just the thing. Do you have let's go into that. Let's just talk about the commission and how that worked. You go ahead and lay the groundwork. You go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, so the commission was set up in 2016. It was established by the city charter, and it was that's the police commission selection panel. Excuse me. So right now, what we saw was 2 commission members were up for reappointment, and basically, it should have just been nothing because it's been hard in these past years to get people to volunteer or apply. Basically, when they first set it up, you had 146 applications. From then, it's been going into the single digits, and no one knows why. But again, though, too, we have to think about it's hard to make the time to volunteer for these commissions. I see the same thing in Berkeley, and Berkeley's like so hyperactive, but it's a lot of time it's a volunteer position, so no money, and it's really important stuff. But basically, it's like, these commissions, they can hold the cops accountable. Like that's their investigations is what basically busted Armstrong, especially with the Fong Tran thing and everything else. I mean, these are the people like these. This is what holds the cops accountable. And so they're going in and trying to disrupt it. And that's why basically Ken Houston led the charge with Kevin Jenkins, Mayor Kevin Jenkins, to basically get a unanimous vote against reappointing these committee members. And I mean, that's rough, like you need the people and like you need voices that are critical. And that's who they're getting rid of. The people that they Ricardo Garcia Acosta and Omar Farmer, they were critical. They were critical of the cops. They wanted to see it approve, and they're stopping that. And Ken Houston made it sound like these 2 were attacking the police, which is just not true. What they need, the cops need to be held accountable, especially after we just saw what happened to former Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back Doug Martin.
Yeah, Doug Martin. It's terrible.
Yeah, so this is a guy probably has CTE. I mean, running backs are abused the most in the NFL. Yeah. That's why, like, that's the worst part. That's why owners never want to pay for them, because they see him as disposable. Because you're basically just taking them and go run into those people or try to get through that little space, and they're just getting the crap kicked out of them. Yeah. I mean, that's why people like Christian McCaffrey is like injured all the time, because they just use him just to like a battering ram, pow, pow, pow. And so you get CTE. So apparently what happened with Doug Martin, he's retired. He's had too many injury problems, and he was actually known. He got busted once for using performance enhancing drugs. So he's out. But clearly there's some kind of issue. That's what the family reported. He was staying with the family, and they're saying like, yeah, there is something up there. Because what happened is he basically found himself in his neighbor's house.
Right. I mean, and also, they were also saying like, he played for the Bucs until 2018. So he's been out of the game for like 7 years. And like, I heard it was more than just steroids, but it could have just been painkillers. It could have just been like a toxic cocktail. Like you were saying with CTE, bodies torn apart. But the thing that is, I think, most troubling is that the police won't give us any details. They haven't even told the family how he died. Yeah. And he didn't die inside of the home. He actually died in police custody.
Yes.
Right. And so the thing is like we have to ask the question now. And this is the kind of thing like anytime you say died in police custody, I often think, okay, well, see, that's the thing. Okay, when you say died in police custody, you make it sound as if you handcuffed him and he died.
Yeah.
Right. But that's not how. No, there's got to be a whole lot more to that story. Like died in police custody is like a smokescreen. Yeah. You should find another way to say it, because the minute you say died in police custody, I think it's up to the press to immediately start digging in. Yeah, died in police custody should be like, oh, okay, immediately. Like what the hell is that going on? And they refused to tell the family how he died. And so now we're stuck in the same kind of like system where you're over reliant on people who are definitely like devoted to keeping you in the dark. And that's the reason why the real problem is with like we have Jones Dixon as a DA. I think if we had Pamela Price, we would have answers by now.
Yes, definitely.
Right? Like
or at least an announcement saying we're investigating this.
Yeah, we're looking into this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so, I mean, yeah, that's right. Please, it's so vague what that could mean. Yeah. And then when you hear about stories like what happened in Baltimore with the guy that was arrested, and they basically threw him down on an empty van floor and drove around, and basically he died from the injuries because they were driving roughly.
They really were trying to injure him, and I think they accidentally killed him. They were really trying to fuck him up with that. I wish I could remember his name. I'd love to say his name maybe next time, because but these are the games that they play. And sometimes these games end up killing somebody, and then we have to sit here with died in police custody. Like, no, we need answers. We need answers.
Yeah, and seriously, especially because too, they'll use any excuse, Like, honestly, there's been so many stories too, and I remember even being when I was in college, of hearing stories of basically, one guy shooting a cop, and basically, for some reason, his trip to the jail took a side route.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, he shows up, just a living crap kicked out of him, Mm-hmm. And that's, I mean, sure, we all understand like the feelings behind that, but you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They want to be above any kind of criticism. They want to be above, they don't want to be held accountable for anything. And this is what you're going to see. This is why, this is why they're still against the being watched by the feds, and everything else. They don't want to be held accountable. No police department wants to be held accountable.
Well, I mean, I think that, like, getting back to this commission thing, I think that a lot of people weren't paying attention to the police commission for the longest of times, right? Particularly from, like, say, 2020, like 2019 is like, say like the present moment, right? What people like didn't know was that Brendan Harbor Forte had been blocking everything on that commission. She was making it difficult to even get quorum in that commission. If they were close to getting quorum, she would not show up. She would not show up. Okay, so like this is the real issue. The issue is that, like, I don't know how she got there. I mean, because she's a former judge, and so like a lot of that gave her a lot of weight when going into that situation. But and now we know she actually was against Pamela Price's being elected in the first place. So that means that she was there to foil Price. She was there to foil Price, right? And so the thing is like so that commission has not been able to do its job for the longest of times. It just hasn't been able to do it. And so these guys over here, like the right wingers, like the Ken Houstons and the Jenkins, as it turns out, Jenkins' staffer attended Trump's inauguration.
Oh my
God, that's how deep their relationship is, right? But the thing is, though, is that they're trying to treat that as a victory lap. But no, you guys have never enabled the commission to do its job properly. You've never enabled it. So don't make it sound as if when we start getting a commission together that actually can start holding the police accountable, you're trying to make it sound as if you did something. No, you just kept the status quo. Yep. It's not a victory. It's not a victory. And I have to say that I read this thing today that was really, it was helpful to me. It was actually talking about Steve Bannon's flood the zone with shit, right? Like Bannon said, like, what we're going to do is we'll send out like 3 or 4 stories, right? And as the people are distracted by the stories themselves, we're going to be passing legislation.
Yes.
Like so that's basically like what I heard was, he said, like, like keep an eye on the policy and let the policy be the thing that creates the narrative, because everything else is just noise.
Yeah.
Right. So what they did was they created a whole bunch of noise about this. But the thing we really need to be worried about is the Encampment Act. That's the thing we need to be concerned about. So, like, no, you guys didn't do anything here. That's a performative. That, to me, I mean, this is just my opinion. I know we've already discussed it, but I would like to see a working police commission. I just know that we haven't had one in a handful of years.
Yeah,
we just haven't, right?
Well, it's like, because basically it was after 2020 was the last thing they did, which is they led to an investigation that fired the chief of police that was before Armstrong, which is why Libby Schaff appointed Armstrong.
Right.
So,
exactly.
I mean, that's probably why too. Once they saw they could take down the king, that's what they're going after it. But I agree though too. This encampment abatement policy is bad as well.
Terrible.
It's terrible. Like, because especially, I mean, it's just cruelty. It doesn't offer anything to help the people. It's basically just sweep them away, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, but also, I mean, the thing is, you're increasing the likelihood you're going to end up being incarcerated too, right? If you like what you did was you're criminalizing homelessness. Like, that's essentially what the policy does. It criminalizes homelessness, right? And it puts the onus and responsibility of those sweeps on an already dysfunctional police department. So it's just going to be this thing that feeds into this cycle, right? Where we have dysfunctional cops doing dysfunctional actions, being held with no accountability. But the thing is, if you keep moving these people around, eventually there's going to be like confrontations. There's going to be like people are going to end up accidentally breaking the law, but you're not going to be able. Where are you going to put them, right? And I think the thing that's the scariest part is that ultimately where you want to put them is in prison.
Yep.
Ultimately, that's what you want to do. Ultimately, you want to put, and we're talking about seniors, mostly seniors, mostly African American men, right? And you want to put them in prison, and that's the thing that really enrages me about Jenkins, right? I mean, the thing that enrages me about Jenkins is he should know better. He should know better. Maybe Ken Houston can be maybe he can jump over that fence and become a Trump when he wants to be.
Yeah.
But Jenkins and NAACP, there is no excuse for this. You guys know the statistics. You know who the homeless people are. They're not from out of town. They're people you went to high school with.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that right there is just like, it's just so shameful. It's so shameful. And I think political suicide ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, we hope, we hope the streets remember, Yeah. Well, actually, can you talk to a little bit? We've talked before about this, but talk about why Oakland NAACP is different than what's going on, like what we're used to, Well,
I mean, like the thing about the Oakland NAACP, this is something that it wasn't until Seneca Scott came around where I actually started like paying attention to what was going on with the Oakland and NAACP. But essentially, I'm talking about like, if the NAACP is kind of like an institutional thing, right? It used to be something. Yeah. But all across the country, the NAACP is now seen as kind of like just like institutional memory organization that used to be functional, but hasn't been in a long time. So you're able to move underneath the radar if you join the NAACP. You're you're in the NAACP. You walk into a place, go, I'm with the NAACP, and people don't know that you guys don't really do anything anymore, right? So you go, I'm with the NAACP. People go, oh, important organization, blah blah blah. It isn't. It really is just a legacy organization. It doesn't really do anything.
Wow.
But this is true. They're like, how many times? How many times have you seen the NAACP is stepping up for this? The NAACP is stepping up for this. No, you don't anymore. If there would have been no need for the Black Lives Matter organization if there had been an honest to God NAACP that was still functional, totally. Right? So the NAACP for the most part has been that, but in Oakland it actually is a harmful organization, which is a difficult thing to get your head around, right? But Seneca Scott became the sergeant at arms at NAACP, right? The NAACP national chapter has disavowed the Oakland chapter, saying that it's been infiltrated by right-wing forces.
Yeah,
like this is true. And Brenda Harbor Forte is a member of that chapter. The guy who is pushing for the coal facility in West Oakland, McConnell, is that his name? His name is McConnell. And yeah, he's a member of the NAACP, right? And then when the time came for Brandon Harami, the termination of Brandon Harami by Jenkins, where did they go to make the announcement? They made the announcement at the NAACP headquarters. Right. So, I mean, like, so it's very clear that the NAACP in Oakland has become a right-wing organization, and everybody knows it. And so, but this kind of ties into also, I think, what we're talking about with the commission itself. There used to be a time there used to be 144 people, 100 people wanting to go and sit on that commission. Now it's like 7, right?
Yeah.
But I think the reason being is because people are being intimidated not to get involved. And that takes an organizational effort, to keep people from wanting to get involved, right?
Totally.
So if you have OPD, NAACP, let me see, California Republicans, right, and they're all in coalition with each other to discourage people from getting involved with the commission, to discourage people from and the other thing. Okay, let's not forget that the Black Action Alliance that was created by Philip Dreyfus, right? That's because the NAACP didn't even come out in open support of Lauren Taylor. They didn't come out in open support of Barbara Lee. They didn't. So that shows you the issue with the Oakland's NAACP, right? If you have to make a fake Black organization because the Oakland NAACP is so right wing that it would be too obvious. So you have to make a fake Black organization that to replace the NAACP. But I think that's really one of our major issues right now is just that we have too many capos. We have too many people like of the raid on Canal Street in New York was encouraged by a Latina. Like who went to New York and tagged ICE, and then ICE came and raided Canal Street. We have an Asian guy over here in Seattle named Jonathan Cho. He's going to come over here to Oakland, tag ICE, and ask ICE to come and raid Oakland.
Yes.
So they're capos. We've got Stephen A. Smith over here like capering, calling Jasmine Crockett out.
Oh my God, he's such a ridiculous.
Yeah, for Trump though. But for Trump, they're all capos, and this is a phenomenon that I'm still flabbergasted how this is happening. I'm still flabbergasted why we have so many capos. How are so many people who like get their communities are the ones being attacked. Their communities are the ones being destroyed, and yet you're over here begging them to come.
Yes, and real quick too, another capo. Was a guy named Rajni Mandal who sent a letter full of false information to the city council, and that's what they used as evidence to not reappoint the 2 members on the commission. So that's the kind of crap. And yes, I mean seriously, it's and what do they want from the raids too? They want people to kowtow. Basically, a big part of why Trump didn't send the National Guard is not just the CEO from NVIDIA saying, "Oh, please don't do this. This will hurt our bottom line." But you also have Mayor Daniel Lurie, bending the knee, saying, "Please don't do this," and also too, I mean, while saying like, "Oh, this is scary," and they kind of, David Chu, the city attorney, was ready to go to sue Trump if they tried this. Brooke Jenkins said she would, hold accountable anyone that broke the law, anyone from the ICE enforcing this stuff. But he was still also like, we just don't need National Guard. I mean, we understand you want to clean up our streets and our, all the drug dealers and stuff. Because honestly, when Newsom wanted to do the same thing, they were all gung-ho for it. But when it's Trump, and it makes them look bad too, because still in the Bay Area, you still got to look like Democrat.
But, also, I mean, I think the other thing is that you created the doom loop. Like you created the doom loop.
Wait, I didn't create it.
No, I'm saying, Brooke Jenkins created the doom loop in order to get rid of Chesa.
Yeah.
Right. But you helped Gary Tan and Susan Dyer Reynolds and Omar Ward and all these people. You helped them create this doom loop narrative. Right. And so the first time it blew up in your face and it was Gavin sending them over, you were like, okay, that supports our doom loop narrative. Right. But when Trump does it, it's different because the Fed is now saying that San Francisco's screwed. And if San Francisco's screwed and the Fed is saying it, you are the guys at the wheel. It's not Chaser at the wheel. It's not London Breed at the wheel. You guys have the will.
Yes.
Right? So that means you are like you create this doom loop and you think you can keep it on a statewide level, right? But the minute the Fed peeks over there and says, who's in charge? And it's you guys. No, don't do it. Don't do it. We'll fix it. You mean you're going to fix what you broke? Are you going to fix what you broke, though? Because you broke something. Are you going to fix it? I'm talking to Crook. I'm talking to you, Lurie. I'm talking to you, Gary Tan. I'm talking to you, Susan Dyer Reynolds. Are you going to fix what you broke?
Yeah. I mean, you even made light of it. That's Fentalife.
Yeah.
What a horrible campaign.
Yes.
Trying to make it something cute about people dealing with drug addiction.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's a big long debate about drug addiction and personal responsibility and stuff, but still making light of something that's truly ripping through communities and destroying them is not cool. And it's also like you set up this narrative that's now being used against you.
Exactly. You did it to yourself. And unfortunately, we have to say that about the whole damn country.
Yeah.
You did this to yourself.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know. Yeah, seriously. You know, so I want to, before we go, I want to share, so we're still dealing with a lot of ICE raids.
Yeah.
We're still dealing and I think there's a lot of great information out there that I think people should check out. This ISHO, the state senator candidate, put up some really great info on like how to handle it. And my computer's slowing down, but it's coming through. But it's basically Bay Area ICE raids best practices, and really I'll link to it in our show notes, but we should also just go over it because it's got a lot of good info, especially for people that have businesses that might have ICE raids, you know, and how to deal with it. Just don't let ICE into your business. It's that easy, you know, at all. Just find any excuse to just keep them out, or just keep them asking questions, ask for IDs, check their warrants, document what they're doing. And also, too, people can do their part, too, even if they're not involved. If they're witnessing stuff, that's great. Don't attack people. But definitely record what's happening, because especially a big part of why there's been such pushback, and you're seeing the pushback win, is that all this footage is really sparking the resistance. Everyone's seeing how terrible it is. And like all the crazy crap you're seeing too, you know, of like people that are just following the ICE agents being hit by cars, you know, like just being randomly attacked, you know, families being split up. I mean, God, you want to talk about like powerful footage. Just look at all the stuff where the children are being separated from their parents, you know.
I also think I think one of the more helpful things, especially on this one, where for individuals who are detained or targeted, like write a civil rights or immigration attorney's information on your body. I think that's something, like, you know, it's bad enough you have to walk around with your papers, but they're going to take your phone. You cannot, like, and the people think they're going to be able to keep their phones when they're getting detained. No, that's the first thing they're going to do. They're going to take your phone. So I think it's really important that you do that. Like find a place on your arm and write the name of the immigration attorney that you're trying to get in hold of. Also, I liked what she was saying about if you are witnessing, be sure to ask the person. You don't interfere with the arrest. So don't interfere with the detainment, but ask the person their first and last name. Make sure they say it clearly. And also, if you can, a lot of these ICE vehicles are actually private vehicles. They are not federal vehicles. They're private. Somebody owns them. So in certain places in the country, they're hiding their license plates. They haven't done that here yet. So if you can, be sure to record the license plate, because that car is more than likely owned by a singular individual, and we can trace who that person is, and that removes the anonymity. I thought that was really good, a good point that she made there.
Yeah, because especially too, removing the anonymity is a great way to fight back, because these people don't want to be known. They're all wearing masks and stuff for good reason, because they will be held accountable.
I saw a detainment in New York, and the guy had the ICE agent had his face covered, but he messed up and he left his arms uncovered. Mm-hmm. And he had a tattoo. And guess what the tattoo was?
I'm gonna guess like the Punisher one.
No, Nordic mythology. It was a Norse tattoo.
Oh,
it was literally some Nazi shit. It's like just said, "I'll see you in Valhalla." This guy actually had that shit on him. He had Nazi shit on. So we're probably dealing with Proud Boys. We're probably dealing with Klan. We're probably dealing with white supremacists. We're probably dealing with these people, and that's the reason why you see this really out of control cruelty, really out of control. Like, you know, they finally get a chance to try to do the thing they've always wanted to do, but they've never been protected by the government when they're doing it. So they're finally getting a chance, right? And so we're seeing that a lot, but we're also seeing them shoot each other. That just recently happened in LA. They were trying to break into a car. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh because people got hurt. Yeah. But the dude thought he was on television, and he took his weapon. It was a handgun, and he tried to break the window open with the handgun.
Oh man, they're not sending their best. Let's just be real. They're not sending their best.
Like, they had to get rid of 30% of the people who were recruited because they couldn't do 15 push-ups. Then they had to get rid of another 10% because they couldn't pass the open book test. This is true.
I know. I am loving all the videos of the activists running away from the ICE agents, and none of them could keep up. And
the one that really is driving me crazy though is that there's two things that are going on simultaneously. The first one is that ICE has to try to get the footage of an honest to God war. Mm-hmm. Right? So now they're fabricating that. Now they're creating footage by, like, what they'll do is they'll just put out the gas and like start pepper spraying people and all that, right? And then they do the rubber bullets, but nobody's there.
Yeah,
nobody's there. Like, they'll actually go to a place where there's nobody and do that. Right. And the other thing they're doing is they are actively going after Black Americans right now.
Yep.
And so the fun is not really funny, but if you guys want to go see it, there's this kid. His name is Hood Genius.
Okay.
And he's an NBA Twitter guy. His whole thing is like he trolls the Bucks. For some reason, it's the Bucks. And he trolls them all the time. Like, the Bucks suck. Forget you, Bucks. Like, and he goes by the name Hood Genius, right? He said this thing about Homeland Security, and Homeland Security came after him as an individual, because what they did was, the first thing they did was, there was this video of a kid who was talking, and he shouldn't have been doing this dumb shit in the first place. But when there was a talk about going to Iran, him and his buddies got together and they made this, they were like teenagers, right? And they made this video like, we're going to Iran, we'll handle it, right? But he was like 16 or 17 years old.
Yeah.
Department of Homeland Security took that video, scrubbed that part off of it, and said that these guys were actually going to try and get the fake bounty that was put on the ICE officers. Like, they actually, you can check it out for yourself, man. Like,
wow.
So we're talking like 15, 16-year-old boys, like teenagers. Like, the main kid has braces. And so what they did was this, they were to do this little joking thing about, oh, you know, we're going to go to Iran, we'll handle it, right? But what they did was they changed it to, oh, we heard that there's bounties on ICE agents' heads, and we're going to get that bounty. And dude had to come out and say, I never did that. That's not me. Like this is the original video. And they doctored the video to make it look like these Black boys were actually going to be hunting down ICE agents. Then Hood Genius says, that's fucked up, y'all. Like, what y'all did was fucked up. And then they start going after Hood Genius, who also is a teenage Black boy. Like, there are no grown folks in this conversation at all. And the scariest part is that, like, what they've been needing since they went to DC, since they went to Memphis, like, they've been trying to get footage of Black people fighting them.
Of course.
And so that's why they chose Canal Street. When that capo, when the Latina went over there, she said, look at all these Black people. ICE, you should come here. Like, no, that's what that was. And that's what Jonathan Cho tried to do when he snuck over here. He snuck in the dead of night, made a little footage. ICE should come here. Look at all these Black people. Right. So they're trying to, because what they know is What they know is that the Midwest, the Bible Belt, the Rust Belt, they need that footage. Yep. You cannot keep showing people in Portland getting beat up in their inflatable suits. You can't, and you also can't, like, and especially when you think like Arkansas, Oklahoma, you can't show people who they know have been working their farms, right? Like they're sympathetic to that group of people too.
Yep.
Right. So basically, like I want to send a warning out to everybody, because that's happening. Stephen Miller needs black people. Yeah. Kristi Noem needs black people. They need black people. So I understand that everybody has to fight in their own way, but I'm just putting that out there.
Well, yeah, and how much you think too is that kind of setting an example to kind of keep black people down too? You know, like if you try to get involved, I
don't think that's.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, I think because these are part of my language, but they're constantly referencing 2020. They want 2020 again. Yeah, they want 2020. They BLM, burn, loot, murder. That's what they want.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I think like, no, I don't think that they're trying to make sure that black people don't come in. What they're making the assumption that black people are burn, loot, murder, which is their own racist stereotype.
Yep.
Right. Like, so if black people remain peaceful, I mean, but black people have been going to the No Kings rallies, have black people in them. Yep. And the only people who say there's no black people are the people who really want more black people. Right. Because that's what they say. Oh, where the black people at? Who's asking that?
Yeah.
Fox News is asking that. Stephen Miller is asking that. Kristi Noem is asking that. But there are black people there. So what exactly are you looking for? You're looking for majority black people. You want 2020 to justify martial law.
Oh, yeah, because that's how they reference all those BLM. They refer to them as riots.
Yeah, and the last time,
like, but they were protests, and they came out that actually they were sabotaging the protests.
Yeah, they were. But to be honest about it, like, the last time that martial law was actually instituted in this country was 1992 during the Rodney King riot.
Yeah,
that was the last time it was done. So they're trying to say that this established precedent. If we can rile up the black people enough, we can do it just like we did in 1992. And what should have happened in 2020, right? That's what they're doing. So, I mean, I'm saying, like, the people do what they do, but also I think it's very wise that, like, the people understand that what's actually happening and not taking the bait, right? Because if you're on social media, guys, you're getting baited. You're getting baited, right? So just, like, keep that in mind, especially on Twitter. If you're black on Twitter, you're getting baited. Don't let them do it.
Good point. Good point. And yeah, really too, honestly, protect yourselves in these moments. It's good to go out there. Don't, but also to make sure to protect yourself, because you can't do anything if you're in jail and you're put in the system, and they want you in the system.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yeah, they want to bring you down. So I think that's a good place to end it. But I do want you to talk about the event you're doing on Saturday.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I will be giving a talk with another writer named Sean Taylor. He's the author of handful of books. The one that's most notable is he did the 33 and the Third copy of which is a music series. Yeah, it's a music series, but it was a Tribe Called Quest book. Really great book. Known the guy for years. We're going to be talking about being black writers in America, and particularly in the Bay Area, and how difficult it is to I wanted to call it Black Writers Blacklisted. They decided not to go. They decided to go another direction. But I mean, black writers do have a tendency in the Bay Area to be blacklisted. And if you take a look at any of your publications, your newspapers, your magazines, the books that get published around here, we have very small publishing houses around here. Most people have to go to New York if they intend to be a black writer. So we're gonna just talk about, both of us have been writing professionally for 30 years. So he actually got his start at Lollapalooza, way back in the day. Like he was one of the original winners of the Lollapalooza Poetry Slam in like the early 90s. So we're just going to be talking about how difficult it is, and also because it's kind of related to everything that's going on right now, because there's a certain kind of expression and a certain kind of resistance and a certain kind of radicalized position that almost is natural to people. And that's the thing that I find so difficult when it comes to these people who are or black and brown, who don't understand that they're already in a radicalized position. Just the fact that you're black and or brown puts you in a radicalized position, and there is no way that you can assimilate out of that. And your own personal expression is the thing that like is going to always consistently resist that assimilation. So unfortunately, we can talk about like Vivek. Let's talk about Vivek Ramaswamy. Like the way that he thought that he's going to get in, and then Ann Coulter's like, no, you're not getting in.
Yep.
The way that Kash Patel thought he was going to get in, and somebody said, no, you're not really going to be getting in. You know what I mean? So you're already in a radicalized position, and you need to actually connect with the literature and of the people who in those marginalized and blacklisted spaces, so you can navigate and won't find yourself over here trying to get in and narking out your people. Yeah. So that's basically what we're going to be talking about. It's going to be at Medicine for Nightmares. It's in the Mission. It's going to be 6:00, and we're going to be doing it for Litquake.
That's great. Yes, that's great. And yeah, I mean, just such good points too. I remember, when I was working at certain publications, especially like KQED Arts, like, it was funny how black topics could be just eschewed, or ignored, especially it's like when it's so easy to kind of use the excuse of like views or hits or whatever, but it's really like it's a lot of topics are ignored.
Well, and also, I mean, the one that kills me is that okay, you can have like black music is what it is. It's the most dominant music in this country.
Yep.
And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a white person writing about it for most of these publications.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, right? And then God forbid, because like my primary thing was book reviews. I didn't write about black people in the book reviews. I mean, I just wrote what's the latest book that's coming out, right? And would you believe that people forgot that I was a black person? No, literally, people forgot. Yeah. I actually did a thing with KQED because somebody back in the day with Alexis Madrigal, Alexis?
Oh yes, I do, Alexis. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Alexis sent this thing out on Twitter saying, name some old school Bay Area journalists, right? And people started naming all these names, naming. And I came in and I said, you guys don't remember any black people? Not remember any black people. And so Alexis interviewed me for his show, for a broadcast. And I said, people kind of forgot that I was because I wasn't writing exclusively on black topics. Mm-hmm. Right. So, I mean, that's how segregated it is. Yeah. And I would but the segregation is so terrible that if a white person can write about white music and black music, a white person can write about black books and white books, but still maintain their identity. Right. But if you are a black person, you have to write exclusively about black topics, exclusively about black music, or you will be forgotten.
Yeah.
That's how segregated it is. So that's what we're going to be talking about.
That's great. That's great. And yeah, geez, I can't believe no one mentioned Chauncey Bailey. That's awful. I mean, there's a guy who died. He literally died for the business.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. But there's people like Quan Booth, Eric Arnold. I mean, there's so many people who used to be a part of that conversation. And this is the thing. This wave, right? This wave, like everything else, started in the Bay Area. This thing that we're dealing with, this anti-blackness, this segregation, that also started in the Bay Area. Just like the network state, just like tech fascism, right? Yep. And they're hand in hand. Anti-blackness is a foundational aspect of the Trump administration and also a foundational aspect of tech fascism, right? And it started here in the Bay Area. So that's what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah. Great. Well, all right. Well, I hope everyone can come out to that. That'll be awesome. Yeah. And also, I hope everyone is following us on all the socials. I hope you're all supporting us on Patreon.
Yeah, please support us on Patreon. We need
please.
I need a new mic, you guys. Come on.
Definitely. And well, I think that's about it. But we'll see you next week. So till next time.
Keep fighting the good fight.